As you know, tomorrow is Peace Day, and nobody is as excited for the big celebration as I am.
Spoilers ahead, I guess. Alright, before you say it, let me get a few things out of the way first. No, this is not a review of the whole series.
Good work, wise ass.
I have no interest in reviewing the whole series. If you want me to review the whole series, you're gonna have to pay me $1,000 collectively. I got my Ko-Fi in description, so if you want me to suffer more, there you go. Either that, or give me 10,000 likes on this video, and I'll subject myself to more of this than more than the first episode, who knows. Secondly, due to me disliking Crunchyroll's previous practices and how snobby they were, I have vowed to never use their services, so...
Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
I mean, what could Crunchyroll ever do to me? That's not too far off, actually. In any case, this video will be going over the first episode and explain the backlash that initially happened, but we're doing that in the reverse order, so why the fuck did I start with that with my script? Alright, so we gotta go back. Back to the past!
No, permission not granted.
2018, a time where we weren't in a pandemic. People were still complaining about a YouTuber's controversy in Japan, and I was but a young lad still trying to figure out his avatar. Seriously, that totally messed with my branding at the time. But yes, my friends, this story goes all the way back to 2018, when the trailer dropped. Well, could you even call it a trailer? It barely showed anything about the show other than the concept and background images, which is nice, but most of the trailer was filled with meeting the people behind the scenes, and it had an air of arrogance to it.
Show has a lot of heart that I don't think would have come through from any other studio.
Well, that's certainly a big claim there.
The fact that Crunchyroll Originals is doing this as a 2D animated series, it's giving us an opportunity to do things artistically that a lot of other shows and other studios really have forgotten how to do.
Obviously, this movie has its head up its own anus.
Wow, way to put down so many other artists.
I don't think anyone has seen stories quite like the ones that we're going to tell.
Isn't this all a bit much?
Now, back in my admittedly cringe fest of a video rant that I did years in the day, I talked about the response the internet had to the trailer. If you could hear it through my bad audio, yeah. There were messy politics, even messier identity politics, and considering the culture of the internet back in that time, seeing the reaction was pretty interesting to talk about. Now, boys and girls, here's something that a lot of people don't actually like to do. They don't like to think. Specifically, thinking about things back in the day and what was going on in context. You see, there are a lot of other factors as to why this trailer was hated, other than the fact that one of these creators had apparently said a lot of nasty things about men on Twitter, but that's besides the point, and really, I don't care about that. But a lot of people did, and whatever. I'm not trying to make this video political, but I got some feeling that's a losing battle. Kids, don't say crappy things on the net.
That's no good.
During this time frame, Crunchyroll really wasn't the best site. They had a lot of problems with their streaming service, had things on there that were pushed that weren't anime, had a lot of money that they proudly touted as helping the anime industry, even though they put their money into licensing this cartoon and a convention. Not helped by the egotism that Crunchyroll had back in the time publicly. I mean, if you look on Twitter, you can find one of their leaders actively being a jackass to people who didn't really care to use their services. Now, shock of all shocks, times change, people change, and things change. Crunchyroll, from what people tell me, is halfway decent nowadays. I know! But that's the thing that a lot of people who basically boil the hate of the show to anti-SJW. They don't even want to consider the other options there. Sure, that certainly was a part of the issue, but that wasn't the sole issue, and it's dishonest to ignore the aspect of Crunchyroll in this situation. Hell, if you ask me, if Crunchyroll didn't even have a hand in this, no one would even care about this show. Let's put it like this. A lot of people back in the day had a lot of issues with Crunchyroll, and a lot of people who saw this as virtue signaling when Crunchyroll should have been putting their money into fixing their service. Was it virtue signaling? Hell if I know, who can tell in this day and age? And then, after that, for 3 years, nothing! High Guardian Spice practically disappeared. Some tell me it was shelved, others tell me it was dropped.
But I don't care!
Well, lo and behold, it's finally arrived. And what did I think of it in its first episode? Drum roll, please!
Drum.
So, what were my thoughts on the show? The show that 3 years ago lit a fire under the butts of so many people? Meh. I'm legit serious. Meh. I watched the first episode, and there's a question I need to ask.
Why? Why? Why?
Why should I care? No joke, why should I care about these characters? Why should I care about them wanting to be guardians? Why should I care about the fact that I'm essentially watching two magical creatures about to get on?
Every time I close my eyes.
Now, I'm gonna say something that'll blow your mind. I know for a fact this show is not for me.
Bum bum bum.
I know! What a foreign concept! I'm not saying that just because a show isn't aimed at me, that doesn't mean I can't have thoughts on it. Hell, ask a ton of people in my comment section, they apparently think that just because I disliked an arc in Red vs. Blue, I clearly have no idea what I'm talking about.
Initiate emergency plan Delta, man!
Ow! What the fuck? I didn't say who.
But there are tons of things that, while having a key demographic, obviously can appeal to other people outside of it. Need I bring up the cringe that was the brony days on the internet? Or how about video games, and how that appeals to a ton of people outside of their demographics?
You bastard! They're trying to butter up the gamers!
I know a ton of guys who actually enjoy Pokemon, and that's considered a kid's game nowadays. My point is that just because something isn't aimed at me, that doesn't mean I can't watch it, I can't enjoy it, and that I can't criticize it. Right?
That's the problem with living in a patriarchal society. Men just automatically assume they know everything.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Look, let's set the record straight. As usual, even if someone has complaints, people will dismiss all of that and focus on the minority of idiots who focus on things like the representation, when that doesn't accurately display the real complaints of said item. And when I watch a new show, I usually have a 3-episode policy, but considering that throughout the entire episode I watched,
Listen, I don't care.
I was bored as all hell. Normally, a show has some kind of hook that would get people into it, whether it be a mystery, a motivation of the characters, or something to help propel people into wanting to see what happens next. What do we have here?
Did you pack your teeth? Your toothpaste. Ooh, I'm nervous.
We'll scale mountains and fight mermaids and explore precipices and crevices and we'll be totally fearsome dudes.
Totally fearsome dudes.
Hi, Guardian! Whoa!
Well, just look at all the f***s I get.
Well, from the first episode, not a lot, really. We learned that the two main characters that we spend most of the time with, Rosemary and Sage, are going off to the Magic Academy to be guardians. Look, I've fought against the concept of unoriginality as a criticism in the past because, shock of all shocks, I don't think it's really a valid criticism. We live in a time where people's media consumption is at this point kind of scary, and with the advent of the internet and streaming services, it just makes it all the more easy to consume. But as with everything, there are exceptions, and this is no exception for me. And considering that this stuff is touted as...
It's giving us an opportunity to do things artistically that a lot of other shows and other studios really have forgotten how to do.
Let me just say that I raised an eyebrow at that. It doesn't help that your premise is something that a lot of other studios have done, and when compared to that of anime, I gotta say it falls really flat. If anything, this looks more like it was blatantly stealing from Steven Universe and Ruby. Rosemary? Oh god, Rose.
Wait, that's illegal.
Her story has a lot of elements that are similar to both Steven's and Ruby's. Their mother is gone! They left her a sword, in case of Steven Universe. They want to follow in their footsteps, like Ruby does for her mother. And her father looks like Greg Universe in a sense. Also, I know this sequence is where her mother's appears as a dream sequence, but holy hell, the dialogue is so ham-fisted and blatant.
Do you love being a guardian?
Yes. It is hard being apart from you, from my family, but my guardian vows are sacred, as yours will be one day.
Mom?
It really takes you out of the story, whatever little story there is. Here, listen to this voice acting.
We'll scale mountains and fight mermaids and explore precipices and crevices and we'll be totally fearsome dudes.
She sounds really bored. What the hell? And I know for a fact that there are other charming voice actors in the show.
Poured frozen peas down your shirt. He's made up of meanness and hurt.
And I told him to cut it the heck out. but he just sneered at me.
This is outrageous! It's unforgivable!
That physically hurt my brain! And the animation, well, not the worst I've seen. It's not lighting the world on fire, folks.
I'm such a mess.
Let me explain a bit more with the animation. It really feels stilted. Like, take for example when in the market, the characters actually don't feel like they're a part of the world. They look like they're nothing more than removable stickers that you slap onto like a background and can move them about. Actually, it kind of reminds me of my own work where I just slap myself onto a background. Hey, there I am! Heck, they kind of remind me of those YouTube animations that are done in Photoshop. You know, where they just move the characters around and squish them? Kind of like this. Those have a bit of charm to them, but this, not so much, since this is supposed to be from a studio that had a ton of funding put into it. So when I see stuff like this...
Girls want any food? Is sleep a food? Is sleep a food?
Is sleep a food?
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
That's not how reality works! It really shows me how shoddy the work is. And that's not even getting into the odd perspectives and size changes, or how the shadows are inconsistent. And even more so when they can't remember continuity. Like in the dream sequence, we see Rose's mom toss Rosemary her sword, but when she's whisked away, the sword's on the ground where the mom was standing. Or the two Trixies that just swapped places in between cuts. Like, what the hell? I didn't edit that! And that's really the biggest problem with the first episode. It wastes your time. We don't know what a Guardian is. We don't know what our characters' motivations are. Hell, we barely know anything about our characters.
The picture inside it is irreplaceable. My dad's prize-winning boysenberry cheesecake.
You have a locket with a picture of cheesecake inside it.
It was iconic. I must have dropped it.
Several bad puns later.
Rose.
Sorry. I didn't want to lose it.
Rose, why didn't you tell me?
It's just a cheap necklace.
So, wait, why did you not tell Sage there was a picture of your mother? Why did you have to tell Sage it was just a picture of a cheesecake? I don't get it. What was the point of this?
You got to be a guardian, in a way. You protected a precious creature, and that let it find its perfect partner.
Wait, no they didn't. They didn't do anything to protect the Trixie. What the hell is that line?
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
There's not a direction for our show to go, which is really bad because from what people tell me, the first 6 episodes are essentially slice of life while the rest are when the plot really takes off. Now, maybe it's because I'm an old-fashioned guy, but when trying to get me interested in something about a show, I like to know stuff about the characters, other than the fact that the whole will they, won't they hook up. Because, yeah, if the hand-holding out of wedlock pics didn't spell it out for you, along with the lesbian couple that houses the 2 girls didn't spell it out, there's probably going to be a lot of that. Now, I don't hate that sort of thing, but if that's what you're banking on to get people interested in your show, well, I'm not going to say it isn't effective.
She's not protecting me.
But if that's what you're selling it as, it's like a candy bar. Sure, it gives you a sugar rush, but it dies down and you're left with nothing more than plaque and a bad stomachache. Now, I'm not asking for the world to be explained in the first episode, but I would like something to get behind and something to sink my teeth into. You know, other than shipping and handling. God, I'm tired. Look, point is, I don't really have anything to say about this show. It's not like it's offensive to me, but it's not like it's telling me to do this.
You eat like a pig. Try the floor.
I was eating those beans. Are you fucking insane? I was eating those beans!
But by that same token, there's nothing for me to really want to watch. I don't care for these characters or their motivations. And frankly, I don't know why I would. They don't explain anything, and essentially just wasted 23 minutes of my life, and in turn, I just wasted God knows how many hours of my editor's life. So yeah, it's meh. I don't know what to tell ya. Maybe it gets better, maybe it gets worse.
It's been fun, Aster, but yeah.
Should have known you were stuck.
What the hell is this?
But unless you guys give this video 10,000 likes or bribe me $1,000 on Ko-Fi, I refuse to look at this series anymore. It's not worth my time, and frankly, I think that's a good thing. Look, let's be honest. Even if it didn't have that whole Crunchyroll BS, and even if the trailer wasn't the dumbest move they could have done to hype up the show, I don't think this episode would have hooked me. I have no doubt that people would like it, but it's just so boring! This is a sour note. Let's put something fun here at the end.
Ever played
12 brothers?
I'm MangaKamen. Thanks for watching, and remember to examine your fandom.
Do you want rabies?